Quo Vadimus. It's Latin for where are we going? I think it's probably the most important question you can ask yourself. It's a very personal question and it's a very big question because it's not just about you. It's a collective. Where are we going? It applies to your everyday life. It applies to your entire life as a whole. And it applies to the people around you. And it really doesn't have an answer. It's a fluid situation. It changes every day. It changes every hour. Sometimes changes by the minute. But you have to ask yourself constantly, where are we going?
Hi, this is Charles. You are full of bullshit, my friend. I will sue you for everything you have. I will sue your ass.
Welcome to 86 Charles, with your hosts John Darby and Travis Spencer.
And with that, welcome to 86 Charles. Travis Spencer, how are you?
Great, sir. Glad to be here. Can you explain one thing though?
Yes.
Why are we going Latin in this episode?
Because
You
it's
think you're
fancy.
smarter than everybody? Oh, you're fancy. Did you actually ever study Latin, or are you just Googling things
No.
thinking you're smart?
Do you want full disclosure on this?
Yeah, full disclosure.
I'll give you full disclosure. The first time I ever heard the phrase was from a television show.
Yeah, Sports Night.
Yeah, exactly. You know exactly
Terrible
what it is.
show. I hate Aaron Sorkin. Hate his guts.
I would probably agree with you now. I bet if I watch it now, I probably wouldn't like it. At the time, I
Right.
enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, I guess I haven't seen enough of West Wing and Sports Night to say that I really hate him, but I think then he was okay. But then by the time he got to News Radio, what was it? Not News Radio. What was the one with Jeff?
Was it Newsweek or no?
Whatever it was.
I never saw the thing. I never watched it. But I know what you mean.
Hated that show. He's like the most left-leaning, I'm smarter than you liberal that ever was, and I want to punch him right in the face. But, you got to give him some respect. He's made a lot of money in Hollywood.
True.
So I'll give him that respect. But as far as his content, you can go to hell. Find yourself somewhere in the middle. Don't lean that far left.
But I did.
Idiot.
But yes, that was the first time I ever heard that phrase. But and that was a long time ago. So that stuck with me at least.
Well, Aaron Sorkin's in your brain, bro.
Well, a small part, sure.
But yeah, I mean, if you're constantly questioning where are we going, then you're not focusing on what you're doing at the time. You need to live in the present, bro. Carpe diem. There's some more Latin for you.
I don't disagree with you entirely, but I do feel like I think you constantly have to ask, where are we going? Where are you going? Where am I going?
Why? We can't account for everybody, because you said it, everybody's going in a different direction all the time. Literally, I drew a dot and I pointed a little arrow going every possible direction out, and I can't possibly draw the amount of directions that people are going.
Sure.
Everybody's got their own path. You need to focus on your little path and stop worrying about everybody else.
It's not about worrying about everybody else. It's about considering everybody else.
That's worrying. I see you in your little apartment in NoHo, just huddled up in a corner, and you're so worried about where everybody else is going. It's not that. You're like, oh, where are they going? You're like looking out the window. You're like, where's that guy going? What's he doing? Oh, I bet you that guy's going to Circle K. Oh, I bet that guy's going to the gym. Oh, I bet that guy.
Just writing on the walls. Where are we going? Where?
But you have really quippy little fast one-liners, just like Aaron Sorkin does in his stupid shows.
Oh man, you're really good at belittling a point.
Well, I'm not worried about where we're going, and clearly I have no direction. I have no idea where the hell
just because you've arrived at where you're going doesn't mean that the rest of us shouldn't consider it.
No, I mean, it's good to have goals and to move forward with your own plans, and you need a general consensus of what other people are doing. So you, for example, why this show doesn't work is because we don't know who our audience is really, because it's such a
because we don't have
random
one yet.
thing. Yeah, who's gonna listen to this show, and then you find out people like your page are a complete vast array of demographics and styles and types and all that stuff.
Yes.
I have no direction. They have no direction. We have no idea. So we need to get a think tank in on this one. Maybe they can tell us who the hell our audience is. Tell us, America, who's our audience?
Who are you? We need them to reach out to us so we know who they are.
Well, even if we had Aaron Sorkin or Aaron Sorkin fans, they're gone now, so we're screwed.
I kind of want to end on that.
No.
I'm a registered Republican. I only seem liberal because I believe that hurricanes are caused by high barometric pressure and not gay marriage.
Where are we going from here? Where do we go?
That there's 86charles.com. Click on Amazon.
It would take over 2.5 million bowls of your own brand cereal to equal the fiber content of one bowl of
Amazon. I'm convinced.
Nickel, what? 5 topics currently trending. Travis?
John Derby, did you have a nice Halloween?
It was all right. Uneventful.
Did you dress up?
No, of course not. Dressed up like a bartender.
I dressed up for the first time in several years this year.
Ooh.
I went as, you've seen True Detective, right?
Yeah.
I went as Rustin Cole in his interview mode where he's just sitting there chain smoking cigarettes and drinking beers.
Cutting up beer cans.
Great costume. I couldn't find any Lone Star beer though, so I had to cut up a PBR. It was kind of cheesy, but
Time is a
it was
flat
fun.
circle.
It was fun. I nailed the tattoo. Yeah. So many great. It was fun being a nihilist all night. Just anytime anybody said anything, I was just like, "What does it matter, man? We're all dead with molecules floating in space."
I believe in nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right.
All right, so speaking of Halloween, the husband of an Oklahoma mayor allegedly meant no harm with his KKK costume. An Oklahoma mayor told NBC News Monday that her husband meant no harm when he and a few friends dressed up as Ku Klux Klan members on Halloween and placed a cross beside a fire. A photo of the men was posted online where it quickly triggered intense criticism and cries of bigotry. Imagine that. The image, which was taken by someone who called the police, shows 2 men clad in white hoods standing behind a cross. The mayor's name is from the city of Lahoma. Teresa Sharp said the outcry has included calls for her resignation. What the hell's wrong with people, man? Like,
Idiots.
You're the husband of a mayor of a town in Oklahoma. I would probably not dress up as a KKK member. Probably just,
If
common
your
sense.
wife bags groceries at the Piggly Wiggly, you probably shouldn't dress up as a Ku Klux Klan member.
But if you do, she's probably not going to lose her job.
Fair.
There might be some criticism if she throws it up on Twitter and her 3 followers are like, oh. But if you're a mayor, there's probably a little more critical eye following you around.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And should she be punished for her husband's actions? In this case, sure. You married an idiot.
yeah, I mean, it just if that's going on in your house, and you would think that she would have some oversight,
Some sort
and
of
would have known.
idea.
Like, I don't know what's going on in their
Chuckleheaded
house, but
husband and his buddies were going to dress up like the Klan in her front yard.
this probably leads to your next story, but maybe he's just part of the real KKK, so it wasn't a costume at all, huh?
I was going to say, maybe she's on the list too. Denials quickly follow Anonymous's list of alleged KKK members. The mayor of Lexington, Kentucky says he's not a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Anonymous postings saying otherwise are false, insulting, and ridiculous, Jim Gray said in a statement on Monday. Gray, as the city's Democratic mayor, was responding to the release of names of purported KKK members by someone claiming to be with the hacktivist group Anonymous. Now, where this gets weird is Anonymous claims that they promised to unleash a social media campaign against the KKK, but not until November 4th, and they plan to use the hashtag #HoodsOff. So this other source may or may not be related to Anonymous, and the information may or may not be accurate.
I hope it is accurate.
Me too.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of names on there of politicians and these idiots, like Lahoma Mayor, whatever her name is, Teresa whatever. Thank God for Anonymous.
Oh,
you know?
Yes.
It's pretty amazing time that we have this. And if there's a list somewhere with KKK members and they go to meetings, like
Anonymous claimed it
probably
would
find it.
Anonymous claimed it would reveal the identity of 1,000 KKK members after gaining the information through a compromised Twitter account associated with the group. Stay off Twitter, folks. If you want to keep your secrets, stay off Twitter.
You're in the KKK, how big do you think the biggest name is going to be? What if it's like Hillary Clinton?
I mean, no, not that big.
It's not going to be that big.
Not that big. But
I mean, if it's a senator, that's huge.
Sure. There was a senator that appeared on this list. It was Dan Coates, Republican from Indiana. He tweeted Monday that he was in no way involved with the KKK.
Well, if he tweeted it, it's real. All right, let's move on.
Moving on.
Google has said it expects to begin delivering packages to consumers via drones in 2017. David Voss, the leader of Google's Project Wing, said his company was in talks with the Federal Aviation Administration and other stakeholders about setting up an air traffic control system for drones that would use cellular and internet technology to coordinate unmanned aerial vehicle flights at altitudes under 500 feet. His quote is, "Our goal is to have commercial business up and running in 2017. Google and Amazon are among companies that have said they want to use drones for deliveries. The FAA is expected to publish final rules for commercial drone operation early next year." This is going to be pretty crazy, man. When we start seeing, especially in LA, you're going to see it first in a bigger city like that. Under 500 feet, these things just zooming past all day and night. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Well, it's not going to be all over the place at first.
I mean, it might clean up the roads a little bit, which would be nice.
Maybe
which sucks
if it loosens up a little traffic, that'd be cool.
Sucks for like that's a pretty good job. UPS is a pretty good job for truck drive, for people driving around.
True.
So they're gonna lose some jobs, but especially in LA, if you can clear up the roads at all, it's a great thing.
But we talked about this first on our old show.
Yeah.
So we're getting pretty close to the time that we were talking about when it was going to happen.
Right, and that was a couple years ago when it wasn't as realistic, but now they're drawing the actual routes, and we're gonna have it all comes down to the FAA is when they allow that airspace to be used. It's gonna be pretty wild.
No, it's just the beginning of Thunderdome.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I gotta admit, I want to see some drones flying over. All right, let's move on.
All right, moving on. A yawning hole opens in central Wyoming thanks to wet spring. The crack, as it's being called, opened up at the end of September. So what it is in central Wyoming, there's just this gaping hole. It just looks like the earth was ripped apart. Experts say water running through the hillside loosened the dirt and gravity did the rest. It poses no danger to people or structures. It's on state-owned land in the middle of a private cattle ranch. So a reporter from the USA Today wanted to see it for himself, and his immediate reaction is apparently unprintable but understandable. But his actual quote was, "This is really big. I'm pretty much in awe. The end of the hill just fell off."
Holy shit! That's what it was?
Yeah, but apparently they couldn't print what he originally said. Apparently slides like this happen regularly in Wyoming, although they're usually a lot smaller and they happen in the spring.
I think it's a fairly natural thing. It happens quite a bit. Obviously that we captured it. We didn't, I wish that there wasn't video of it happening. There was only pictures afterwards,
Yeah.
right?
That would have been cool
with
to
all
get
the
time lapse of that.
Yeah, with all the surveillance we have, with all the surveillance and drones that we have, to get an actual video of a gaping hole, then we're onto something.
That would have been cool.
I wonder if any cows, like if there was a cow standing on top, it'd be crazy. He just disappeared.
Just go into the earth.
Could we talk about, from gaping holes, could we talk about clits now?
If you can be a professional about it, yes.
I am nothing but professional, John Derby. How dare you?
I know.
Google Translate error sees Spanish town advertise Clitoris Festival. It was meant to be a culinary festival celebrating grello. Grello is a leafy green vegetable that is a staple of the Galician town of As Pontes in northwest Spain.
Oh.
But for the past few months, the small town was marketing a very different kind of festival after it used Google Translate to put the Galician word grello into Castilian Spanish, ending up with it inviting people to take part in a clitoris festival.
That's so weird.
I mean, this is just beautiful. Nobody double-checked it. They went through and posted signs all over, and it said,
so people think
Clitoris Festival
that's a staple of their diet.
I wonder what kind of people showed up and they were like just so disappointed that it was just about leafy green vegetables. So they were all, it was like, you know, they were all in nipple clamps and leather,
I was gonna
and
say,
they had
the
whips
people
and all
had
this.
set
They're
up
like,
for leafy green vegetables, but then the people that showed up were probably set up for something entirely different.
I just think of the Gimp from South Park.
Oh,
He's got just like,
jeez.
or not the Gimp. I'm thinking of the Gimp from Pulp
Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction,
But
yeah, sure.
What's Mr. Garrison's boyfriend in South Park? He's kind of the same.
What was it, Mr. Slave?
Yeah, Mr. Slave. Mr. Slave shows up, and there's just like it's like a couple tents with a bunch of Grelo in it in them. And they're just selling them for like $1 a pound. Like how you're looking around everywhere for clitoris.
I thought this was going to be different, Mr. Slay.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Hey, you know
Mr.
what,
Slave.
though? It's a good thing it didn't translate it to a G-Spot festival because no one would have found it.
Hey-o.
Hey-o!
All right, well, we covered drones, KKK, crack, and clits. I think we did a pretty good job this week.
That sounds like the news to me.
We are going now. We are going, we are going, we are going.
Jesse's favorite part of the show.
From last week.
Hello, folks.
I'm going to tell you guys a story about a moment that's haunted me for 15 years. I would say it's the most embarrassing moment of my life, but that's not at all true. Probably not top 20. And honestly, it doesn't really even haunt me. I think about it once every so often and chuckle. But still, it was 10th grade government class. We were out loud reading an article about disease prevention and control. Paragraph by paragraph, we went around the room taking turns educating. I'll admit I wasn't totally into listening or being super aware of what the subject matter was or even the slightest bit engaged. And when it came time to read my part, I started off with, and I'm paraphrasing, "The issue of AIDS is a blah blah blah," and I thought nothing of it, but the class was on it immediately. "AIDS, dumbass," said a person I no longer talk to. And that was the moment. Without the proper context and without caring about the rest of the article, I spelled out AIDS, and I'll never forget it. So I got PTSD flashbacks when John Derby read the hashtag RIP. I could be wrong. I was wrong once in 1997, so I have some experience, but that hashtag was hashtagging a post about a bug dying. So if I were to guess, I'd say it was hashtag RIP, and all I could think was AIDS. This is Jesse, and reliving high school was my favorite part of last week's podcast.
I think human consciousness was a tragic misstep in evolution. We became too self-aware. Nature created an aspect of nature separate from itself. We are creatures that should not exist by natural law.
It's time for the failed athlete perspective. Travis.
John, what are we going to do? Major League Baseball season is over. The Kansas City Royals won the World Series.
There you go, Royals.
I do like Kansas City. I like how they play. They're scrappy. They're athletic. They're not just a bunch of big boppers that are fat and chew tobacco and spit on themselves. You
like
know,
the guy on the cover of Big League
I respect. Yeah, that guy. He's a filthy slob. No, I respect the way they play the game. It's kind of a throwback. I hope that way of baseball keeps winning for a couple more years, so maybe we can get rid of some of the terrible defensive lapses that the Mets made. You know, just learn to play the position. These guys have been playing baseball their whole life. How do they screw up at the biggest moment? Well, obviously there's a lot of pressure,
yeah,
but come on.
That's exactly how. I think it's just like seeing the Warriors win the title last year. When people say jump shooting teams can't win, you can't win playing that style, yada yada. It was good to see them win it. It was just good to see it won a different way. I think it's kind of the same with the Royals. It's not just about the team that spent the most money or hit the most home runs.
Right. And last year, honestly, if it wasn't for Madison Bumgarner being a bad motherfucker, they could have 2 World Series, you know? Now, let's move on to a better, more important sport.
Yes, please.
The NFL. Arizona Cardinals, terrible first half, down 20-10. Is that right? I think that's right, yeah. 20-10 to the terrible Cleveland Browns. Come back in the second half, outscore them 24-0 after Bruce Arians rips into their collective asses. Good win. We'll take it. 6-2 going into the bye. We've got a tough schedule coming up, man. Seattle and Cincinnati right away. It's not going to be easy.
Seattle
the Rams look good, but they're going to give us a tough game.
They're
like those NFC West games are always tough. What else you notice around the NFL this week?
Too many injuries.
A lot of injuries. Le'Veon Bell went down. Keenan Allen's done. That just got reported today. Kerry Robinson. Ricardo Lockett. We thought he was going to die for a second there. It's pretty freaky.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I was afraid of the paralyzed. That's the thing that you're
totally.
That's always the fear.
It's always a good sign when they're moving their hands on the way out.
Yeah, but it took a while for him to actually move the hands.
Yeah, and it's especially freaky when they pull off the face mask.
Sure, but yeah, I think it definitely could have been worse in his case.
We got your boy Ken Wisenhunt got fired.
Yeah, I'm not shocked, but I'm surprised in the fact that what did they expect him to do with that team?
Yeah, but he's been a pretty bad coach.
I don't disagree.
He's been pretty terrible.
I think he's one of those guys, better coordinator than he is a coach. Look at how good he was in San Diego.
It makes you wonder about Arizona. Is like, who was the coach of that team? Kurt Warner?
That's what Leinart says.
Kurt Warner was the coach of that team. I mean, who are you?
But you could say the same about almost every place Peyton Manning was. He was pretty much, if not the coach, at least the offensive coordinator. And I think Warner was probably that same guy. Probably just more of the offensive coordinator.
When is the actual trade deadline? Oh, it's today?
No.
Is that right?
Is it?
It's next week?
What week are we in? Because it should be
Tuesday
like week
4
8.
p.m.
Are we in we are week 8. We just passed week 8. Maybe it is today.
It's 4 p.m. today. It just happened. It's 4 p.m. Eastern, right? So the trade deadline just happened.
Yeah, it's probably over now.
Which the NFL trade deadline is always weak, but we did at least get Vernon Davis to the Broncos.
Vernon Davis was the only
picking him up in fantasy leagues. So I hear you did pretty well in fantasy football this week, huh?
I am living the fantasy dream right now. I am crushing on multiple platforms.
Did you have Drew Brees in any of your leagues?
I did, in one. And I pulled the trigger on a trade for him while he was throwing 7 touchdowns. In the middle of him throwing 7 touchdowns, I pulled the trigger and get him on another team.
That's pretty good.
Unbelievable, man.
I went against him in one league, and I lost.
And that's how that went.
Imagine that. It was closer than it should have been because that person also had John Brown in their starting lineup who ended up not playing a snap. But I lost because Vinatieri had a big game, and that screwed me. But, yeah, Breeze was unbelievable.
I would have won that league
Eli
without
Manning.
Breeze. That was the sad thing. Jarrett, I know you don't listen, but don't take that personally, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I beat you by over 100 points.
Ouch, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Did you get a Snickers award?
Of course I
or
did.
A Toyota award?
Or Colonel Sanders Golden Bucket or something. I don't know what it was, something like that, but yeah. I sure did, buddy. You don't drop $1.85 on a fool and don't walk home with a bucket of chicken. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the official 86 Charles League, I got some problems, man. Ben Roethlisberger comes back, looked like crap. Des Bryant comes back, nobody can throw him the ball. I'm a little worried.
You want to know what's great about that league? Is I'm 4-4, which overall is not good in that league. That's middle to low middle of the pack. But I'm number 2 in my division.
You and your stupid division.
You were the one that was upset that I went down to 2 divisions. You wanted 3.
No, I didn't. I don't like divisions at all. In my league, I don't have any divisions. It's just
your league is weird, man. You can't even talk about your league. Your league is too weird.
My league's amazing. My league has been running for like 12 years.
Right, but
it's a proven
you
champion.
scored 900 points a week or something. It's super weird.
Yeah, you just add a 0, bro.
Then that's
I don't want
pointless.
the scoring
There's
to
no
be the
reason
same
to do
as
that. What if
Why
football
not?
all of a sudden, touchdowns are worth 60 now? Well, why?
Yeah, there's no rules.
What are you, tennis?
Why? Because
What are you, tennis?
Because I can. Because I'm a creative individual who wants to change the scoring system to something different. All right? All right?
You get
I
60
should've made him
for
like
a
17
touchdown
points.
and a fumble we call love, like in tennis.
Get out of
You
here.
just start making things
Get out
up.
of here. And 3-pointers are worth 6.
Oh, no. Field goals are always 14.5 points.
Speaking of 3-pointers, let's move on to some basketball.
Yeah.
We started an official 86 Charles Fantasy Basketball League.
We pulled it off.
How do you feel about your team so far?
Very solid. Very solid. No need to make
who's your
moves
first pick?
yet. I think my first 4 picks are better than anyone else's first 4 picks.
Who was your top guy? Who'd you pick
Russell
first?
Westbrook with the 8th spot.
Like that. I do like it. He's been killing it early. But also, I have the reason that he's not going to have such a great year because I have Kevin Durant. So you're in trouble.
I'll be honest with
Kevin
you.
Durant's
I don't think I would have taken
crushing it.
Kevin Durant over Westbrook this year. Not in life
Kevin
and
Durant,
not,
like,
in,
have you
not
seen-
for a career, and maybe not even if I'm running an actual team.
Have you seen any of the interviews or anything he's done? He is pissed. He is fired up. The other day he said, somebody asked him if he was going to take off some games down the stretch, and he's like, you guys need to shut the hell up. You guys act like I'm 39 years old. I'm not 39. I'm in my prime. I'm going to play 82 games.
how old
He just wants to shove it down the media's throat. He's not 39.
All I know
Come on.
is that he's 6'11" with a bad foot. That's
up.
not a good.
You can give him
that's a
You can give him
bad recipe.
6 more surgeries. Give him 6 more surgeries. He'll still hang 40 on you a night. That's all you need to know.
How's Yao Ming doing this year?
That's a Chinese dude. Like,
No,
let's
he's a
not
big
apples and
man with a
oranges,
bad
bro.
foot.
Yeah, Kevin Durant and Yao Ming are the same player.
The
Get the hell
injury's
outta
the
here.
same, clown face.
All right, so with my team, I didn't pick up any Suns because I don't want to have to root against them or trade them or do anything.
that was
But I did
exactly
pick
why
up
I
former
struck.
Suns, Isaiah Thomas, and guess who's killing it for me? My favorite player, last pick of the draft, Marcus Morris.
I was gonna say you just went and got old Suns.
Yeah, guys I still like. I didn't want Keith and because guess I wonder who took Keith.
No, we know who took Keith. We know exactly who took Keith.
Why? What? I thought you hated him.
I do. Keep
So
your
why'd you
enemies
take him?
close, bro.
Well, I got his brother. His brother's already playing way better than him in Detroit.
Right, and you know who's going to
In
be more upset
Chicago.
about that than anyone? And who's going to talk to his big brother Tyson Chandler about it? Over hot cocoa late at night?
Now you're using all my theories against me.
That's exactly why I took Keith. I'm going to go
don't
back
think Keith
over
put up-
every show that I had to listen to the greatness of Markieff Morris and throw it right back in your dumb face.
On October 30th against Chicago, Marcus.
Remember
put up
when you said
26 and
Markieff Morris would win MVP?
7. No, they changed the name of the award to MV Keefe.
I'm going to get a pair of Sun socks with Markieff on them. That's going to be great.
That'd be pretty dope. Speaking of the Suns,
Lorne Babby is a bloody wanker.
Steve Nash got inducted into the Ring of Honor. It was a touching ceremony. So I have some notes from the Suns. I think this was the second game. I want to start a regular series called Lure and Len. I just want these dudes walking around town. John Lure and Alex Len, like the 2 big tall white guys. They just seems like a good show to me.
Yeah.
We're gonna work on that.
Sure, that's going to go over really
We're gonna
well.
work on that.
Netflix
Lure
is
and Len.
calling. They want to run that.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, we're done.
Two-time NBA MVP, number 13, Steve Nash.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
It's time for the Facebook World News Update. This Real to Someone News Update is brought to you by the KKK. It's always been a joke, but it's never been funny. A man in Los Angeles said chèvre and baguette might be his kryptonite, guys. Hashtag noms. A woman in Boston said there are American cheese singles all over the parking lot, and the seagulls won't touch them. She's seen seagulls eat styrofoam. This they know better. A man in Hollywood said Facebook may be the most passive form of communication.
Remember, remember, the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten.
All around Citizens Bank Park there, chanting USA, USA. That's because, according to reports...
Can you put a dollar amount on patriotism? The Department of Defense paid $4.4 million to the 4 major professional sports leagues for them to perform on-field award presentations and to show their alleged patriotism. How much did your team take? NBA Atlanta Hawks 225,000. Boston Celtics 195,000. Indiana Pacers 115,000. The list goes on and on. In the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons received $879,000. The New England Patriots took $700,000 taxpayer dollars from the Department of Defense to allow patriotic ceremonies to happen on their field. $700,000 to the New England Patriots. Fuck you, Robert Kraft. Fuck you, Roger Goodell. Fuck all of you greedy, slimy fucks.
Let's not forget the Patriots also. They've been phenomenal in, giving me accommodations last night and to the game here today. So we appreciate both the Patriots and the USA.
Since 2012, major sports franchises have taken $7 million for ceremonies to honor the men and women of the military. Remember this when you see the NFL Salute to Service campaign this month. Dear Department of Defense, 86 Charles is accepting donations to be more patriotic. Click through 86charles.com and click on the Amazon link before you buy your next tank, shipment of weapons to ISIS or satellite death ray. Thank you. Let's be sure that we never forget Pat Tillman, a true American hero. It would have been his birthday on November 6th. Remember, the 6th of November.
A man in Los Angeles said, like usual, this a-hole Trump can't speak, has nothing to say. Hateful fat ass. He's a racist. Morons follow him. He has no clue to foreign affairs. He has no answers about the economy or the environment. Clown. A woman in California said can't wait to see her BFF tomorrow. With what life has thrown at her lately, she needs some girl time / talk. Lots of pictures this time, 3 exclamations. A woman in Los Angeles said, out cruising for dick at Home Depot. If you need her, just holla. This Real to Someone news update is brought to you by the KKK. It's always been a joke, but it's never been funny. I've brought bread
to men, women, and children.
I've brought water with lemon for the table.
I have hot tea.
Can I box that for you?
I'll bring your change.
Okay, so I used to work as a tour guide at a place called Rosslyn Chapel. It features in the Da Vinci Code. So the very last 5 minutes of the movie became very popular. You get all these rumours, superstitions, conspiracy theories, alien spaceships, Holy Grail, ley lines. So I just started walking about, and I heard this strange noise coming from down in the crypt. So I went down to investigate. There was, I don't know, I'm going to say 13 because it sounds mystical. It could have been 10, 11, whatever. Women standing in a circle chanting around a human skull. I'm not an expert on human skulls, but it looked kind of browny yellowy and had those fissure cracks in it. So it wasn't plaster mouldings. And so they totally ignored me. I kind of stood for a bit and was like, what am I going to do? And so eventually I kind of said, excuse me, I don't think this is appropriate behaviour for the chapel. Could you please stop that? And they kept on ignoring me. It was like properly like, this is awkward. And it just came to the situation where I shoulder charged the circle and broke the circle and bent over and picked up the skull and said, "Could you please take your skull and get out?" And they kind of stared at me, and I kind of marched upstairs with the skull in my arm, and yeah, that's that story.
And that was our new friend Allan, former tour guide at Rosslyn Chapel, brought to us courtesy of course, Deb Loftus.
Big shout out to Deb. Great work doing correspondence work in Scotland.
Yeah,
we'll just send Deb all over the world.
Deb is doing work on vacation for the show. You won't even do that.
Deb, we owe you a coffee. We'll buy Deb a coffee for all the thousands of dollars she spent to go to Scotland and get us this story.
To be our live
we got you a
correspondent.
coffee. I'll get you a coffee. Thanks. That was awesome. Great story. This is right up my alley. We're talking about, we got spaceships, we got ley lines.
What are the odds that
we got seances?
One of the few books I've read in the last however long was the Da Vinci Code, and I saw the movie, so I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Right. Yeah, I read the book, but I've also read Angels and Demons, so I was mixing them up. I was like, okay. And there's one after, I think, too, that I read. So I've read all three, and I'm just like, at this point, it's been long enough that I just smash them all together. And I don't know if I ever got through the movies. I think I always watched them with, like, one eye on it, because I was like, well, it's not as good as the book, and I don't really care. And Tom Shanks, I like him in some things.
How dare
but
you? How dare you?
I don't know if,
careful where you tread right now, sir. Tom Hanks is an American.
I don't necessarily like him as Robert.
Treasure.
I see Robert Langston as more like a Graham Hancock, you know? Graham Hancock's like the real, like, Indiana Jones. Robert Langston's a little more badass than Tom Hanks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it. Unless you would recast that for me, that was really, you served me nothing there. Unless you tell me who you're going to put in that spot, you gave me nothing.
Who am I going to put in that spot? I'm going to put Daniel Craig there. He looks like maybe an older Daniel Craig.
So
in
you want like a
15
scholar
years.
who's throat punching people?
Yeah, he's a badass. He wears his khakis and his little.
But don't you think
right?
Daniel Craig's maybe a little too badass for that position?
No, not. That's what I'm saying. Give him some time. You know else who would do a great job?
Vin Diesel.
Obvious. Harrison Ford. I just want Harrison Ford as every character in every movie. He just gets.
You know
every
who should have
role.
been Captain America? Harrison Ford.
With CG and stuff, like he would have killed it. They put enough CG on that guy as it was.
See, you're absurd, and this is why Tom Hanks
but that's
was
pretty.
cast.
But yeah, what a trip to work. Obviously, in an old, ancient cathedral like that, and have. I'm sure. I see it here enough where I have the craziest arrangement of people coming through. I could only imagine who comes through to the Rosslyn Chapel. You know, every walk of life. And you get some crazy like, how do you spot that one?
Well,
in the crowd?
I had the same thought
just
of
got like a little bag.
I've seen some weird stuff at my job. I have certainly never seen a live seance, is what I'm assuming that was.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that must be. I think it'd be weird to work at any kind of tourist place like that, but especially anything that has any sort of supernatural connection or extraterrestrial connection or religious connection, where people might be fanatics.
Right.
I think that is an added element of weirdness. Have you ever been anywhere like that? Any sort of haunted thing or any sort of
Haunted,
supernatural type place like that?
Yeah, like in Flagstaff, there's some haunted hotels. We went to in Jerome. There's a really cool haunted. It's an insane asylum that they turned into a hotel. I've been to like
that would freak me out.
Indian burial grounds and in. Yeah, I definitely like to do more. I really want to go down to South America and do like the Mayan temples and that stuff. But the cathedrals, like, there's so much history there. Think about how many people have died there. Building them, you know, how many people have committed suicide inside of those walls, how many people have been murdered, and like they've just been there for so long. There has to be so much history, and there's something
energy
to that.
in there, man.
Even if you don't believe in ghosts, there's a strange energy when somebody gets killed in a place, you know?
Rick and I,
it's so crazy.
When I went to Colorado a few years ago, we all went to the hotel where The Shining was based on. So it's not,
cool.
it's, they I guess they filmed a few small parts there, And then when they turned it into a mini series for television, I think they filmed the whole thing there. But yeah, it's got a bunch of crazy stories about it. Because I guess Stephen King had stayed there, and that was what inspired The Shining.
Got the idea.
That was in his mind. That's when he was writing The Shining. That was the place he was picturing.
Is that the Stanley Hotel?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Well, big shout out
Huge
to Deb.
shout
Thank
out
you
to
so
Deb.
much. Thanks to Allan. Who else we got to thank? Thanks to Jesse, of course.
Jesse. Who else? Hey, well, thanks Samantha. She was reaching out to us.
Oh,
yeah,
La
Barbecue.
La Barbecue herself. Love me some French barbecue.
Man.
French Canadian barbecue.
Golly.
No, literally, I like escargot on a grill.
French Canadian barbecue.
French Canadian barbecue.
Idiot. Who else?
I'd like to. Oh, where can we find the people?
Everywhere.
Where can the people find us?
They can find us at
Everywhere.
86charles.com.
86charles.com. We're on the Instagram. We're on the Twitter at Company Blaster. You can go to Tumblr and find us. I think it's tumblr.com/86charles. How about what can people do at Amazon or on our page, 86charles.com?
Well, they should go to 86charles.com. And before they shop on Amazon, just click on our little Amazon banner. They don't have to do anything else. It doesn't change anything that they're doing. But then we get a little kickback for
we're going to get. We need Kangles.
The fact that Kangles and business cards didn't come out of your mouth like a rap lyric really upsets me.
Hey, man, I got a lot going on. Here. I'm doodling. I'm thinking of French Canadian
I'm
barbecue.
in mid-doodle. I can't focus on that.
I'm mapping ley lines on the map of Joshua Tree. I'm trying to figure out where the energy portal here matches the energy portal in Scotland so I can talk to Deb right now.
All right.
Okay? I'm going to send her a message telepathically.
Finally, some time well spent on your end.
Thanks, John. You're the best. Tell America why you love them so much.
Because wherever we're going, America, I'm glad I'm with you.
Wow. That was
yeah,
powerful.
See? I'm not doodling.
Are we
paying
going?
attention.
The new boy in the neighborhood lives downstairs and it's understood. He's there just to take good care of me, like he's one of the family.